And the last thing we're going to talk about in this chapter is epidemiology. And most of you were at the video of contagion, so we've already went through this once, but for those of you who were not there, I'll go over this again, okay? And if you were there, then this will be your second time hearing it, which will mean that it'll stick in your head better. Then if you listen to this twice, you'll hear it 3 times, and 3 times is like the big, bad, awesome thing, right? So everybody says you want to be able to hear things or say things or see things or write things 3 times, and then it sticks with you. So who knows? Maybe it'll work, right? So epidemiology is the study of disease and how it's spread, and then the prevention of the disease. There are 3 major things we're looking for or looking at when we are trying to control disease spread. We want to know who the host is for that specific disease. Is, the human the only host, or is there another host that can carry the disease as well? What is the mode of transmission? Is transmission through direct contact, touching or anything like that, or is it indirect through like a fomite or through a vector? There's a lot of different mechanisms. And then we want to know, where does the pathogen come from? So what is its normal reservoir? Is it dirt? Is it some type of plant? Where does it normally live? And so a reservoir, in a nutshell, is a place in the environment where the pathogen is found. So if a reservoir is, say, a dog, then that dog can carry that pathogen, and if that pathogen gets to a human, it can cause disease. Specifically, the type of disease that is caused when an animal transmits a disease to a human, that's known as a zoonosis. And zoonoses tend to be very serious. So let's look at a specific type of transmission. So here we have an animal, a cat specifically, who has come to the house, and he's on the doorstep because somebody ordered toxoplasmosis. So really, I'm talking about a cat, not a dog. Dudley, hold on. All right, so now we're going to put our kitty box out with the litter and allow our cat to do his thing, and then somebody has to clean out the litter. Well, in the fecal matter, when the cat goes to the bathroom, we find these little tiny toxoplasma protozoans, which causes the disease. And if we forget to wash our hands after cleaning the litter box, then those protozoans can get into our food, into our mouth, and cause toxoplasmosis, which is a serious disease. Specifically to pregnant women, not so serious to regular just individuals. So here you can see the transmission can be either through direct or indirect contact. Horizontal contact would be from human to, or it would be through either a human or animal contact. You can have sexual contact. You can have respiratory droplets, so like you sneeze on someone. Vertical transmission, mom to her newborn or to her fetus. Indirect contact, more common because most people, when you have, other than like mild diseases like the cold, you're not going to walk around with certain diseases and just allow them to be spread. We have fomites. We have vehicle transmission through food, water, or aerosols in the air. And then we have vector transmission, which can be either mechanical or biological. So some diseases are called communicable diseases. Communicable diseases are diseases that are contagious. They can be transmitted from one person to another person. Non-communicable diseases cannot be transmitted. So when when you get that disease, you're not going to likely have to worry about someone else getting that disease. So something like tetanus is a non-communicable disease. We already talked about or I've already mentioned this more than one time, so I'm going to go through this fast, but direct contact, again, is either horizontal or vertical. Horizontal is when you come in contact, either you're shaking hands, hugging, kissing, sexual intercourse, or you're sneezing on someone. These can transmit certain diseases. Vertical contact is just from mom to her fetus or her newborn, through breast milk, through giving birth, or directly through the placenta. Indirect contact, a very common type of contact here, is a fomite. It's like a doorknob. So you sneeze into your hand, you touch the doorknob, you passed on your cold virus to the doorknob, and then the next person comes along, touches the doorknob, and then rubs their face. You can have vehicle transmission through like food or water. When you're eating food at a restaurant or you're eating cookout food, a lot of people are coming in contact with that food, and you never know if they washed the food properly, if they did everything properly. So, there's always chances that pathogens could be there. Vectors, mechanical or biological. A mechanical vector is one that just carries the pathogen inside or on its person, but does not act as part of the life cycle of the pathogen, whereas biological, they are part of the life cycle of the pathogen. So when epidemiologists are studying disease, they're also looking at populations and regions of the world where diseases are more common. An endemic disease is a disease that is always present within a population. An example of an endemic disease, a cold, is endemic. It's always present at certain times. We have epidemics of the cold that pop up, but it's typically, even when we don't have epidemics, we still have some people that have colds. An epidemic then is a disease that becomes more widespread within a population. So, if typically we have, 1% of a population that has a cold in any region, if all of a sudden that rises up to 10%, that would be an epidemic. An outbreak occurs when you have an epidemic that has spread to regions around where the original epidemic started. And then a pandemic is a worldwide epidemic where it's found everywhere. Some diseases are more common if you are already ill. And if you're already ill, you enter a hospital, there are certain diseases that can be acquired while in the hospital. These are called hospital-acquired infections or nosocomial infections. So nosocomial and hospital-acquired are the same, okay? But in these infections, you already have a compromised immune system. You're already ill with something else, or you're in a hospital because you're having surgery, and so you're not 100% healthy at that point. And because there's other individuals in the hospital that have diseases, there's more pathogens around, and because not everyone is or not everyone follows all of the health rules, you're more likely to get the pathogen in your area. And this can lead to what we call an opportunistic or a healthcare acquired infection. So if you're already sick, then you can actually get sick with another pathogen by being around other sick individuals, or your own immune system can, or not your own immune system, your own normal flora can actually cause another disease. You can get bacteria from visitors, from the ventilation systems. And because of this, we're always making sure that the staff, so medical staff, are up on the training to know, what precautionary guidelines do we have to follow to make sure that we decrease the likelihood of certain infections becoming more common. Sometimes, or I won't say sometimes, and nowadays we have to worry about diseases that have never been even thought of as being, something we had to worry about. Malaria or dengue fever. These are things that we never really worried about because they're not typically, that you've never seen a person that has these diseases, because the pathogen is found in a mosquito that doesn't live in our area. But with globalization, with people moving from one country to another country, with the change in the environment, with the warmer climates that we're seeing, pathogens are actually moving. And I say pathogens, but I'm thinking vectors, mosquitoes. The mosquito that carries dengue fever is actually in Illinois now. They have seen it, which means dengue fever could potentially start being more common. Not that it's a super common disease, but it's something that we've never seen, and it's a really debilitating disease. It causes severe pain. And so here's showing different diseases as they're moving throughout the world. Here you can see other diseases in different areas of the world. And likelihood of them spreading is really good now that we have people moving from one country to another country all the time. And so this is kind of what I've already been talking about, the emergence of these new diseases in our area, or reemergences the diseases, is due to a lot of the changes that we have produced. We have, taken land away from animals, so these diseases that animals carry become more common in humans, because we don't know better, because we're not teaching enough. People aren't learning things. Climate change, and because pathogens are just getting better. These are all affecting how diseases are spread. And that's where that movie Contagion was so amazing, because it showed the spread of a disease, didn't have a very long incubation period. But because we can fly from one country to another country in just a few hours, it was able to spread all over the world really rapidly. Super scary stuff. That's all I have for you. So we are done with this chapter, and I'm going to stop the video and upload this for you. You have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.